Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the HSP Experience. Today we're going to talk about some viewer comments. I got some feedback in the last few weeks. Another thing I want to hit on is the fact that non-HSPs have no idea what high sensitivity is. They literally don't care. I will keep learning that over and over. It means nothing to them, and it's like everything to us. And our main topic today is being HSP and INFP. You think being only 20% of the population as an HSP is crazy. Try being 4% as a INFP. Try having a voice in your head that never shuts up. Welcome to hell, people. All right, let's do this. So it's been a few weeks since I was able to get back on the mic. I just want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. I had a lot of new subscribers in the past few weeks, and I think it's because I've seen my highly sensitive male video in the HSP subreddit, and it's pretty cool. So hopefully people are getting something out of that one. Thanks for sharing it, whoever did. And I got some feedback that I wanted to talk about a little bit from that video. It's the highly sensitive male. I really liked. There was one viewer, his name's Pickle Tarts, and he brought up a good point. There's a lot of stuff I could add to that video. In fact, I might do an update or an addendum to it one day. So Pickle Tarts says meditation for finding one's center, energy expansion is for the no-fap philosophy or principle. And if you're a guy over 40, just go Google it. And any millennials will know what it is, or most Gen Xers too. And Taoism, finding peace in all situations via the Tao Te Ching. I think it's Lao Tzu, right? So anyway, there's some wisdom from Pickle Tarts. Appreciate it, man. Welcome to the family. And then I got another one from Frank. He was talking about the friend zone thing, and he says he's been married for 21 years. And he said actually the fact that we get friend zoned a lot is because we're good listeners, and we're empathetic. It's actually an asset when you're married. He's saying, it's actually being best friends is great when you're married. And I totally agree. I was married for 10 years. It didn't work out, obviously, but it's actually a good trait to have. So right on, Frank. That was a good comment. It's like, it's just when you're dating, sometimes that asset can be a liability when you're trying to be more than friends, and you just keep going out to coffee and talking on the phone, but it doesn't ever go anywhere. But a lot of that is on us because we fail to escalate. So due to anxiety and other things. So anyway, I talk a lot about it in that video. So on to other things. So I was telling a friend about that I hadn't talked to in a while, and I was telling him I had a party here Sunday with my HSP meetup group, and he was like, well, first I just told him it was a meetup group. He's like, oh, what group is it? And I know anytime you tell non-HSPs about high sensitivity, it's just not going. They don't get it. So, but I was like, I'll try to tell them what it is, and I was telling them about how it's how I have this high sensitivity trait, and only 20% of people have it, and there's this meetup group. He just literally started laughing at me. He thought it was like the funniest thing he ever heard. I just changed the subject, but it just reminded me that only HSPs care about other HSPs. Like if you're a non-HSP, you think you cannot relate. I read a study one time about introverts versus extroverts, and it said that introverts can actually kind of imagine what it's like to be an extrovert. They can step into an extrovert's shoes, let's say. But extroverts can't. When they've done studies with extroverts, they don't understand why someone doesn't want to go out, like go to a bar, go to a party. They don't understand how people want to sometimes be alone to recharge. It blows their minds. And they literally cannot, they don't get it. I think that's funny. I think that's how non-HSPs look at HSPs as well. You try to tell them no, I'm not. They immediately think you're just sensitive. Well, we are sensitive, let's face it. But you try to explain, it's no, your nervous system, we're overstimulated, all this stuff. And they almost think you're making it up. It's so weird. So anyway, it just reminds me that, nobody cares. Nobody cares. We're in this together. It's probably like that with all subcultures, though. Okay, so today we're going to talk about being an INFP. And I'm not going to go into like major detail about, I mean, there's some really good YouTube channels and websites that get into the details of what an INFP is, but I'm going to go into it at a high level. INFP stands for introversion, intuition, feeling, and perception, and it's part of the Myers-Briggs type indicator. It's MBTI. A lot of HSPs know about it, but it was kind of new to me recently. The reason I wanted to do it is I had a couple requests to talk about being INFP. There was one on my website, and then I saw a Reddit post. There's another one. So anyway, there's people out there. There's a lot of INFPs that wanted to hear about it from my perspective. So that's why I wanted to do that today. And it was interesting doing the research. There's a lot to go through. I'm not going to cover it like exhaustively because I know the thing I've learned about MBTI people is, man, it's like people, they know this stuff. They can break it down. I was on this one YouTube channel. This one woman charted it out. She had a whiteboard. I was like, we're not doing whiteboards. But I just wanted to talk about it because I know a lot of people that are HSP are INFPs. It's one of the 16 personality types of the Myers-Briggs type indicator. The MBTI was created by Isabel Briggs Myers and Catherine Cook Briggs and is based on the work of psychiatrist Carl Jung. So the thing is, your MBTI type is informed by your genetics, but it's not necessarily genetic like your HSP trait. So I like to think like your HSP trait is like hardware and your MBTI type is like software. And it's all about how nature and nurture kind of programs you as you come up, how you evolve. And because there's obviously extroverts that are HSPs, but an INFP is an introvert, 100%. So here's some facts about INFPs. Most INFPs are also HSPs. Around 70% of HSPs are introverts. INFP types are considered mediators. I also consider them ruminators because I'm always in my head. Also, there's a psychologist named David Keirsey. He describes INFPs as healers. And he describes the healer type as introspective, cooperative, informative, and attentive. Their tranquil and reserved exterior mask a passionate inner life. Healers care deeply about causes that interest them, and they often try to pursue those causes with selfless devotion. They're highly compassionate and empathetic, right? HSP trait as well. Healers tend to be private individuals who have a strong sense of right and wrong and an idealistic worldview. Yeah, that's me. And they are also deeply committed to things that are positive or good and may be inspired to make extraordinary sacrifices in attempts to achieve their ideals. So that's kind of at a high level what a healer from his Dr. Keirsey's perspective. So here's a good overview of INFP that I liked. INFPs direct their energy inward. They are energized by spending time alone. They are private and internally aware. INFPs are independent and keep to themselves most of the time. INFPs are intuitive. They are imaginative, idealistic, and creative people. They generate endless possibilities and ideas. Their thought process is profound and abstract. INFPs live in the future. Interesting. I live in the past a lot too, but that's probably because I have neurotic issues from my childhood. But I am a dreamer. I mean, I'm 47 and I still have like tons of things I want to do with my life. I guess that's not that old, but I'm still look ahead. It's not over yet. INFPs are feelers that make decisions with their heart. They're driven by emotion. INFPs dislike conflict and are easily hurt. Oh, yes. INFPs are random and spontaneous. Yeah, I guess that's true. I'm definitely random and spontaneous. They like to keep their options open and dislike feeling confined by unbending rules and schedules. That is super true. I hate conformity. Like, there's nothing that makes me angrier than like an unnecessary rule. I don't know, I just can't stand it. Like my daughter, she goes to school, elementary school, and they have these really stupid rules for like clothes and stuff. And it's like, really? Come on. I don't know. Just some of the things they can't wear. It's so dumb. It's like from the 1950s. It's like, dial it back. It's like, come on, let the kids express themselves, within reason, right? But anyway, I just can't. That's so dumb. But there's always the one kid that's going to screw it up. So they got to keep the rules tightened up. So the following careers are possible matches for people with INFP personalities. And this list kind of made sense to me. So activist, church worker, missionary, educational consultant, social worker. You see like a trend here? Physical therapist, fashion designer, counselor, teacher, musician, therapist, artist. Lots of art and thinking, right? Kind of high, cerebral, high level thinking, rumination type thinking, introspection, and then art, of course. Yeah, filmmaker. I could see myself in almost any of these roles, for sure. Like if I had my life to do over again, I'd probably go in like psychology or philosophy. But I'm a software developer, so. But I fit right in with the demographic. Oh, also writer, psychologist, yeah, photographer, researcher. I love research. Some famous INFP people: Princess Diana, William Shakespeare, Laura Ingalls Wilder, right on, Helen Keller, Dick Clark, John F. Kennedy Jr., Neil Diamond, amazing, Tom Brokaw, all right, James Taylor, probably tons of artists. I mean, I was listening to Jackson Browne today. I'm like, this guy's so, if he's not INFP, he's definitely HSP. So let's talk about the pros and cons of being an INFP, because there's a few. Like anything. And these are all generalities, right? They're not going to fit everyone. But as I list some of these off, see if you can relate to some of these. So INFPs are peacemakers. We leave no rock left unturned when trying to understand a difficult conflict, especially if it's a rift between loved ones. INFPs are highly creative. The active imagination that we have often translates into exceptional artistry, writing, and musicianship. INFPs make great confidants. Don't worry, your horrible, dirty secrets will die with us. Also, we probably won't judge you too hard. That is so true. That is so true. People always tell me their secrets. I have a vault that I'm taking to the grave of so many people's dark secrets, and it's like therapeutic for them to tell me, and they know I'm not going to tell anyone, and I don't even care. It means nothing to me because I understand we're all flawed, nobody's perfect, and I actually take it as a compliment when someone drops a secret on me that they just want to unload. It's like, heck yeah, man, tell me, I don't care. I usually tell them one back just to seal the deal, you know what I mean? So yeah, that one I thought was interesting because I definitely have that. INFPs may be outwardly quiet, but we are never bored and are easily occupied with our own daydreams of the future. There is no better company for an INFP than themselves or another INFP who can enthusiastically join along in their mischief. That is so true. I've definitely met some other HSPs, but INFPs in my life, and once you get on the same wavelength, you're like partners in crime, but it's fun, you know? INFPs are inclined to be sentimental and romantic. We have every anniversary and birthday remembered. We still have that box of photos and notes from middle school stashed behind other boxes of pictures and Christmas cards. You know, I'm actually not that sentimental. Oh, let me take that back. With my daughter, I am. Like, I save all her pictures. I have a box full of all the best ones. But I don't really have old cards and stuff from people and past, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on that one. Because part of the thing is when I don't like to look back too much. I like to close the door on chapters. Like if I break up with somebody or, leave a relationship or whatever. I mean, I have a way of just like, I just don't like to look back. So I don't save a lot of pictures and stuff from like past relationships, but I'll save some sentimental things, but everyone's different. INFPs are empathetic. The highly sensitive nature of the INFP allows us to understand emotion in a way few other personality types can. We are very good at reading the emotions of others and in groups. That's super true. So like I had a party this last Sunday at my house, right? And I could totally feel the dynamic of the group the whole time. It's crazy. It's tiring, but I could like tell when like one person was dominating the conversation. I would try to bring the balance back, make sure everyone was having fun. It's crazy, but it's kind of fun. Once you know what you're doing, you just feel the energy of the room. And it was pretty good. There was a few mistakes that, well, I don't know if you call them mistakes, things I wish would have been better, but it was not really great planning on my part, but yeah, whatever. It's all good. People still had fun. Here's one. INFPs have well-developed personal philosophies. We are always assessing our place in the world and looking for ways to make it better for everyone around us. That is true. Personal philosophies. I'm always adding, stealing things from other philosophies, even religions. Like Pickle Tart mentioned Taoism. You know, we are definitely like seekers of good philosophies, and we'll like evolve up and select, you know, properties from different philosophies that work, right? And we'll make our own. We're not really, I don't know how, I mean, I was in a fundamentalist religion for a while, but I kind of got tricked into it. Like it's a long story. I'll do an episode on it, but most INFPs, I think, have a personal philosophy that it's eclectic. They've developed over time, and it's usually kind of a live and let live, do no harm kind of philosophy. And then there's usually stuff in there to like give their life some meaning. And yeah, I love listening to other people's philosophies, like how they see the world. It's super fun. That's the kind of stuff I like to talk about at parties. It's like, so what's your personal philosophy? Yeah, that's why non-HSPs, they look at me sometimes like, who let this guy in the party, you know? But no, actually now I've learned how to talk shallow. It's so funny when I go to non-HSP type parties, I know how to talk and interact in a very shallow, vacuous, vapid way. I fit right in. But like at our HSP party, man, we were all talking so deep and we were all loving it. It was great. Hang out with HSPs if you can. They're so much fun. No judging, no ranking, no alpha male bullshit. It was just, we just had fun. It was great. We're going to have another one soon. Yeah. Anyway, back to this. Okay, so let's talk about the cons, right? Because there's definitely a downside to being INFP. So this one, I hate to admit this is true, but I think it is. INFPs, they can be passive aggressive, which is one of the things I hate in other people. But the reason we're not malicious per se, but the problem is since we really dislike conflict, we're inclined to express our displeasure indirectly and unclearly. But I am always on the lookout for my own passive aggressive behavior because I do not want to be a passive aggressive person. I'm pretty good at telling people if I'm upset with them. I hate this one. I've had passive aggressive behavior, displayed to me. I don't even know what it was for the first. It's kind of went along with the gaslighting that I was in a relationship where that was happening, and I just don't ever want to be the source of that kind of behavior because it is just insanity. So, but we can do it. So INFPs are clutter disasters. The negative aspect of the INFP's tendency towards keeping everything is that we can quickly become overwhelmed with stuff. Yeah, at first I disagree with this one, but I do have a lot of like wires and computer junk from 10 years ago. I'm not a hoarder though. I don't like clutter. I definitely have to keep it clean because the more cluttery, the more it affects my mind in a negative way. So I don't know. I mean, this is just a list, so I don't know. Some people, you guys might have some of that one. INFPs can be total space cadets. We have amazing imaginations. If left unchecked, we'll stay on a thought so long we may not notice that we're walking into a wall. Yes, that's kind of true. I mean, I can drive, and a lot of people do this, but I can drive all the way home, not even remember stopping at red lights and stuff and just thinking about something. Or I'll even walk around listening to music on my headphones, but not even listen to the song because I'm thinking about something else. And I'll be like, oh, I totally missed that song. It's so weird. So yeah, we definitely are in our heads a lot. And I don't know if that's just an INFP thing or no, I know it's not because I was looking, I forget, I just read a biography on Einstein and they said he's not INFP. I forget what his type was. But that, you talk about a guy always in his head, just thinking. I think he was HSP though. I definitely do. He had all the traits of HSP, but he wasn't INFP. But anyway, so there's several of these MBTI types that, we're cerebral. We're just like, and that's why I'm a software developer, and I'm pretty good at it too, because as a software developer, you have to write the code in your head before you can write it on the screen. And so basically writing software is like having a conversation with yourself all day, and it's just all logic. It's so weird. It's bizarre, and INFPs are good at it. So here's another one. INFPs are procrastinators. The tendency to overthink every possible scenario can often leave us frozen in our tracks. Self-doubt can set in if we're not careful. Yeah, I have this. In fact, I wanted to make this video a couple days ago, but I procrastinated, I overthought it. That's one thing I'm working on, is just do it. That's something that doesn't have to be perfect, just get it done. I'm really working on that. Discipline, right? That's a tough one for me. INFPs have a loner streak. Oftentimes, crowds are overwhelming to us. Oh, that's so true. That's most HSPs. We may not always let on that we would rather be at home with a book and not at your birthday party. So true. INFPs crave validation. Tell us how wonderful we are and how you appreciate our efforts. We need that. Here's a tip for you bosses out there, or spouses, or whatever. You will get even more out of an INFP if you always recognize they got your back. That's so true. If you give us some props for being loyal and we got your back, man, we'll do anything for you. INFPs are their own worst critics. Since we take our mission-driven work seriously, we are constantly assessing its worthiness. Sometimes this negative trait can lead to a lack of confidence. I'm definitely my own worst critic. I always have been. I even did another video called The Undervalued Self, and based on Dr. Elaine Aron's other book, her less famous book. And my inner voice is very critical. It has to do with, I mentioned it in the video, but just the authoritarian, toxic, shame-based religion I was in for so many years. It like totally put this voice in my head, and I've left that religion. I haven't been in it for a couple years now, and I'm just barely. I feel a lot better mentally. My mind's a lot more clear, but it was crazy. It was now I know how people how are brainwashed feel. This is kind of a tangent, but once like you internalize an external negative criticism, whether it's from your parents or from a pastor or the Bible or whatever, something where like you're not good enough, and you internalize that voice and it gets its own momentum, you carry it around with you all day long. And the source of the criticism or the toxic belief is not even around anymore. You're like just doing it to yourself. Crazy. But since INFPs were always in our head, we're just viewing that tape over and over and hearing that voice over and over, and that's why I drink. Anyway, it does help though, but it's not a solution. Okay, don't drink, kids. Stay in school. All right, so the biggest weakness of INFPs are drawn from their greatest strengths, the ability to both intensely feel their own emotions and understand the emotions of others. Definitely can do that. I'm like an emotion recorder. Like if I feel a strong emotion, like going through my divorce, I remember how that felt completely. Now when I talk to other people going through divorces, I can empathize with them on a next level basis. They're like, I can just go back to how the whole entire process felt. Yeah, it's weird. It's just, it's amazing. It's like they leave an indelible mark on us that we can mine and use and actually transmute into something good to help other people. So that's one thing I don't mind suffering. It seems like once I always come out the other end, I usually am able to help others with it. It always seems like, at least, you go through divorce or someone dies or, these horrible things that happen in life. As HSPs and INFPs with our high empathy, we tend to usually turn it around to help others. We're there to like help the next one. So yeah, well, clearly I'm making like these YouTube videos I'm trying to use my experience to help others, because otherwise it's a waste. It's just a big giant waste. So I don't know. It's all about helping others, right? Another one here is INFPs are difficult to get to know. INFPs are private, reserved, and self-conscious. Oh man, that's me. Oh my God. This makes them notoriously difficult to really get to know, and their need for these qualities contributes to the guilt they often feel for not giving more of themselves to those they care about. It's so true. Like, I need my alone time. Like, sometimes family and friends will call, and I'll see on my phone, like, caller ID. I don't even answer it. I'm just like, I feel bad, but it's like, man, I need my quiet time right now. I don't want to talk. But I think, like, is this normal? Who does that? But INFPs will do that because we're just like, sorry, loved one, but I'll get you back in a day or two or something. So when others' actions or words hurt our feelings, we take it very personally. And people think that we may be overreacting. When we're depressed or experiencing emotional pain, our emotions can consume us. That's so true. INFPs are the classic tortured artist type. I know some INFP tortured artists out there like shaking your head right now, like, yep. So there's this phenomenon that INFPs have. It's basically like a wall that we have, and it can really affect our relationships. I saw a good description of it from an INFJ to INFPs on a website, and I was going to read some of it because I just thought she did a great job. I'll just read it, and I'm sure you INFPs will be like, yep. She says, INFPs have this wall. I don't know if they realize it or not, but mostly they know the wall is there, but they themselves don't know why. This wall only opens up to select people that touch their soul, and then they let you in. They're amazing, wonderful beings. Thank you. But when you get too close, or when they realize their vulnerability, or when they just feel it's not right, and feelings, she says parenthetically, and feelings within INFPs are very intense and they are very sensitive to their feelings. She says, bam, you're suddenly out. And they sometimes will never even tell you why. It's just Shangri-La crashing straight to hell, and you have no idea what on earth is happening. She goes on to say, getting close to INFPs is like defusing a bomb. You have to be very, very careful in your approach because their feelings are just so intense and yet so kept inside that they feel weird in sharing their innermost thoughts and feelings to you. Never, ever push an INFP unless you want the wall to close down and pin you to death. And even when you try to rationalize with them, they are very indecisive and often irrational in the eyes of other types. They appear silent and aloof while internally fighting epic battles against themselves. Oh my God. This is me. Do I know this person? No. Until they suddenly explode. Or sometimes you just made them feel something and they will slowly back off and suddenly become very logical and cold. To certain people outside the wall, they'll make you feel like they hate you and you don't even know why because they're just so sensitive and they just can't express their feelings into words. And the problem is this. You can see in the INFP a glimpse of heaven in the cracks of the wall. You can see the beauty underneath, the sensitive, loving, amazing, caring person that you know will totally get what love means. If any type really will love you so simply and deeply, INFPs are the ones. So you inch closer and closer into that mythical wall and get your soul crash and burned when the INFP walls you out. And you still wonder for a long time what sort of happiness is in store for both of you if only the INFP had let it be. That is so true. I've always had a wall. I even knew I did when I was a kid. I even called it a wall. I remember, and I would like selectively let people in that I trusted. But if you like hurt me, deceive me, deception is a big one for me. You're out. That's it. Or if you violated like a principle that I really held, you're gone. And once you're outside the wall, that's it. I can act like I've never even met you. But when you're in, you're like family. You know what I mean? Like when you're in, I got your back for life, you know? So I just thought that was interesting. I never saw it described that way. So I wonder if some of you other INFPs could relate to that. I bet you can. Okay, and there's one other phenomenon I want to talk about is, this is kind of a tip for just surviving as an INFP, is the importance of staying out of our head, right? Like, I feel like we ruminate because we think so much. We're missed out on the present moment, though. The problem with being in our head is, you know, typically we're either thinking about something in the future or something in the past. But doing that takes you out of the present moment. And so that's the only place you can really experience life, though. Peace, serenity, contentment, love, happiness can only be felt when you're present. And when our heads, we're not present. And that's like a mindfulness thing. And I'm sure, like Pickle Tart was talking about, some of the Taoist ideas are kind of, you know, dovetail into that. But the idea is we need to stay out of our heads. And, you know, meditation is a great positive way to do that. I'll even tell myself sometimes when I've been thinking about something for too long, I'll literally say to myself, Steve, get out of your head. Get out of your head, man. Like, stop. You know, you've been in there too long. Because it's just like I'm in there. I'm just like looking at a problem every which way, or I'm thinking of something regrettable. In fact, like this party we had Sunday, there was one thing that I didn't really think went that great. There was just a moment. Nothing. Nobody did anything wrong. Nothing super bad. But I was still thinking about it today. It's like Thursday. Like that's enough. Stop. So yeah, stay out of your head. And I think the reason we tend to drink and use drugs, and especially drink, I know a lot of HSPs drink, a lot don't though. A lot are very healthy, especially the younger ones. They seem to have found positive ways to deal with it. I don't know, but I know like in the past I've drank just to shut the voice up. It's just stop. It's like a break. It's like a mini vacation from ruminating. So that's one of my biggest downsides of being an INFP. But anyway, that's one thing I've been working on, is trying to just use my mind like a tool, right? I got to solve a problem. I'll think about it at work. I got to write some software. But other than that, try not to be so mind bound. Enjoy it. And another thing that helps me is if I go for a walk like in nature. The more nature I'm around, the more I'm able to get out of my head and just kind of be. So, and a lot of people know that. I'm just throwing that one out there. Yeah, and also watch for negative self-talk, because if you're a ruminator like me, you have an inner critic because you have undervalued self. That voice in your head can just be negative all day. Like, you're so stupid. That was a dumb thing you did. Like, nobody had fun at that party, or people, they're judging you. They're, whatever. Yeah, watch this negative self-talk. That'll get you. Gets me. Because the thing is, we have to remember, one of the cognitive behavior therapy things I use, because a lot of this stuff can be just, if we just reframe the way we're thinking, is nobody cares. Like, when people left that party, I was like, man, I hope people had fun, blah, 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 or just so many things that happen to us. And most of the time, they're like at home thinking about their life. They're not even thinking about you anymore. Like, they're onto their thing. And, it's like 8 hours later, we're still thinking about, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. So try to just realize that our level of introspection and self-reflection is not typical, like, especially for non-HSPs. They're like, they just flutter in and flutter out. They're on to the next thing. We're like 3 days later, we're still like tripping off something somebody said. They're not. So just know that, even though it's hard to get there sometimes. So, okay, I think that's pretty much it. I covered everything that I wanted to, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this was not like the most deepest INFP, deep dive kind of thing, but being an INFP, and I did start this channel to kind of meet other INFPs and talk about that trait. So, yeah, hopefully you guys can relate to some of it. But, the thing about being HSP and INFP is, I've always felt different. Like, being 4% personality type, I've always felt like a stranger in a strange land. But I'm glad I like learning about this kind of stuff, because it lets you know you're not crazy. You're just different, but not in a bad way. It's just the majority of the population is not like you. So quit trying to be like the rest of the population. Part of my success lately and my ability to have more peace and serenity is accepting who I am. I used to feel like I had to go out all the time, because that's what all my non-HSP friends were doing. And trying to live this lifestyle that doesn't comport to the reality of who I am psychologically and genetically. So I've realigned my life up to who I truly am, or I'm still in that process. Things go a lot better. Absolutely. I'd rather make videos like this. It's creative. I can talk to other people, meet other people, encourage people. And, I don't need to be at some bar right now. But the funny thing is, my non-HSP friends they'd see my like crazy setup here with my camera, my mic. They'd be like, dude, what are you doing, man? They wouldn't even get it, because they're different, and that's not bad. But so anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. But thanks for all the comments and feedback, people. So yeah, I'm going to try to do another video pretty soon. I'm not sure the topic yet, but thanks again for all the Reddit love. Awesome, you guys. And this will be out on the web. I'm going to put the podcast out first. It'll probably be on YouTube like a day later. And that's about it. Hope you all have a good week. It's coming up. Oh, yeah, it's almost the weekend, so yay to that. But remember, we're not alone. There's a bunch of HSPs out there. We're all like... we're all at home. Nobody wants to get together, man, because we're all so introverts. But there's a lot of love going around, man. We all love each other, man. Like I said, when I was at that HSP party, we were like fam. It was like a tribe. We're like, okay, we all get each other. It's cool. By the way, if you're not on that HSP subreddit, you guys should go check it out. Man, there's a lot of good stuff on there. And there's people asking for help that need help, and I'm sure other people can help those people. And then I don't know, it's a good vibe. It's one of my favorite subreddits. It doesn't get a ton of action, but yeah, you guys go out there and it needs some support. But I love hanging out with HSPs. That's it, y'all. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Peace.